on this show, because we've talked mostly everything but MMA for the first time. We missed a lot of events, a bare knuckle, a couple UFCs. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Holland retiring. That was a big one after the Hamza fight. Hamza looked dominant. I don't know if he, came out there and won in less than a minute. He looked amazing. I'm glad he didn't fight Nate Diaz.
It worked out well for Nate.
Yeah, I think it worked out well for everybody.
Well, except for Tony, but
yeah.
For Nate, and now there's a lot of rumors floating around. BKFC being one of them.
Yeah.
That he has some plans and he wants to go do some big things. I like the Diaz brothers, and I've always liked that they don't like. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to like their opponent.
Yeah.
They don't want to be cordial.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you. Why am I being nice to you?
Yeah.
So I have always liked that. But, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? With Oliveira and, over in Abu Dhabi. And it should be interesting.
Yeah, no, the UFC's still chugging along.
But that's why I think that Mahomes won't have the career that you think he will. Because, like, a guy like Holland retires in his prime. Back in the day, Jim Brown, he quit becoming an actor.
You got to understand, Kevin Holland is a different thing than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has more of a Kamaru Usman mentality, has more of a Tom Brady mentality, where I want to be the greatest ever. Holland, he's a good fighter, lots of talent, and does it for fun. And he's always said, this isn't...
Well, he retired probably to be a superhero, because he, breaks up crimes.
Exactly.
Overturns semis.
One of the things that I do agree with Matt, and it's not even the movies and the cartoons.
Agree with me?
Well, hold on. In this part, that it's harder. It's kind of the BJ Penn thing. It's harder to keep going when he gets his next contract, which is going to be stupid.
He already did.
When he gets his next one, how long is this one?
It's 12 years.
Okay.
It's a 12-year deal.
When they renegotiated it,
$560 million.
All right. When they renegotiated in 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and they add X amount. The dollars changes you.
Yeah.
Do I go to the gym today? Do I? Yeah, tomorrow sounds good.
I think when you talk about other positions, it's easy to kind of be because again, quarterbacks his thing is more cerebral in being in shape and preventing injury. He doesn't need to go squat 500 pounds on his back, 600 pounds on his back. So his training regimen is so different than what all the other positions go through. His wear and tear is so much different, And so again, barring injury, but again, Aaron Rodgers is 40. He's been playing for 16 years.
He
years.
doesn't look a day over 90.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, he can still throw as good as ever.
Sure.
He won the MVP back-to-back MVPs last 2 years, and he's 40 years old.
All right, explain that though. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
You've complained about a few things. It is your world. The NFL is your world. How did Aaron Rodgers win the MVP and not Brady?
Because
I'm not a homer.
He played better.
You think?
I know. Look at the numbers: 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 13-3 record, you have to give it to him. You have to give it to him. I understand, Tom was in the playoffs and blah, 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 but he didn't play better than Aaron Rodgers.
See, I don't really look at numbers until I have to.
Yeah.
So, he could have more by whatever.
His team won more games and he had better numbers. I don't know how you don't give it to him.
Well, they didn't. They gave it to him. It's not that they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's again, Brady's pretty great at a very high level, and he's phenomenal. It's almost like that Peyton Manning, Tom Brady discussion. Peyton always played better in the regular season than Tom for his whole career. That was kind of what it was. But then come playoff time, Tom has a different gear that he goes to. A lot of quarterbacks aren't able to go to as consistently. They can dig into it every once in a while, but he consistently finds that level when he gets to the playoffs, and that's what separates him.
The Colts always start 9-0.
Yeah,
11-0.
Peyton has the best numbers, and then they get to the playoffs, and then they falter and lose to a team they shouldn't lose.
Since you brought up Peyton Manning, which career do you think is and will be better? His NFL career or this commentating that he does on ESPN2?
I would say NFL, and the reason being is he has refused to just go straight. The way Tom is going straight into the booth and going to do a Sunday night, like what Tony Romo does. Peyton refuses to, from what I've heard, because he doesn't want to be critical of guys. He wants to go out there, him and his brother go and do their thing and have fun.
It's crazy.
And it's a great watch.
Yeah.
It's almost as fun as the game itself, as seeing those guys go out there and make fun of each other.
I disagree. I disagree. It's better than the game.
Yeah, there you go.
It really is.
It's awesome. It's awesome to watch, and I look forward to just seeing them back and forth. And then the way they just talk trash to each other, and then they do he wears the small helmets, and then all that stuff is great. I think he gets to be playful and gets to be himself. he's one of the most likable quarterbacks to ever play, I would say. Like, he's a guy that you think, I can have a beer with Peyton.
Right.
Up until a couple years ago, people thought Tom was a stiff and you couldn't be around Tom Brady. Now you see he's a little bit different. But I think that he's not going to tarnish that by going out there and, doing that kind of stuff.
And if you remember, and you may, just because of, he played there and then played against not Manning, well, he did play there in Denver, but when he was playing against John Elway, that he was the stiff.
Yeah,
Peyton Manning was the stiff, Mr. Square, Mr. Whatever. Yeah. And then he goes on Saturday Night Live and he hits an 8-year-old in the back of the head with the football. And now everybody thinks he's a comedian. Yeah. And he has gone that route.
Yeah. I guess you can't get in like the sheriff if you're fun loving, huh?
Yeah, I can't see Sheriff Grady Judd, doing funny things. Up there in Polk. What? You're looking at me like you got something.
I'm just saying, going out and drinking, partying with NFL quarterbacks is a good idea until Roethlisberger gets invited. Too soon? Fine. Whatever.
Change in quarterback at Pittsburgh?
Yeah. It's tough. I understand where Trubisky is at in his career. It's the NFL now is you get one shot. You get one shot. If you don't kind of take a hold of it, it's really hard to get that second one. And when you get that second one, you're on a really short leash because they're always going to revert back to, what happened before. And Trubisky, the team around him is not the best. They have some good pieces, but as a whole, they've had a lot of retirements, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of young guys coming in having to step up. And so they start off, 1-3, and that's all it is. We have a first-round pick. We're going to see where it goes. We can't get any worse. You know what I mean? So it's like they're going to put the young guy in and see how he does. And I'm excited for him. You draft the guy in the first round, paying him a lot of money. He should play. You should see what he has.
And a local guy.
Yeah, a local guy.
Exactly. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is good. I think it's dope when you have situations like he's not LeBron by any means, so don't get it twisted, but you get a guy who I'm from here, born here, raised here, went to college here, not gets to play for the hometown team. I think the guys are rallying around him more. The fans are behind it, which is a big thing for the teams and kind of how the looks are. Because if you're losing Trubisky, everybody's going to call for for Kenny Pickett to come play. So I think it's a good move. I think they're in a transition. Big Ben's retired, and it's tough when you lose a great quarterback. And say which one of our big men, he's an all-time great.
For sure.
He's two Super Bowls and do what he did. Like, he's an all-time great. And that transition is never sweet. Look at the Patriots; they're struggling, right? And they're having one thing I want to say about the Patriots, I just thought about. People want to talk trash about Bill Belichick because he hasn't won as much as Tom Brady has since Tom Brady left, right? No one has a seamless transition from a great quarterback to the next. But with the pieces that he had, because I know nobody in the league would trade. The Patriots have talent. Every NFL team has talent, right? But nobody would trade the Patriots roster for their current roster. Nobody would. But he finds a way to be in these games, almost beats Aaron Rodgers, a third-string quarterback who's a fourth-rounder, finds a way to keep this team afloat and keep winning. I had a good friend of mine plays for the Packers, just played the Patriots, and we had an hour conversation about. He's like, I couldn't believe the scheme and how they game planned us and how they had success. Because when you look at it player by player, we had an advantage at every level. But again, Bill is so good at what he does. That's why the team even has the success that he does with the kind of players that he has. You know what I mean? And so I tip my hat to him, even though people are bashing him and talking about, he doesn't have any juice. I think they're wrong, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job with the players that he has. And I'm excited to see the more talent that they get, do a better job drafting and things like that. And I think he's awesome, man. I think he's a great coach.
No, good stuff. Back real quickly to Tom Brady. A lot of players have come to Tampa because of Tom Brady, right?
Yes.
Another departure. Did you hear about that?
No.
Cole Beasley has retired.
Retired?
He retired.
All done.
Came here, filled in. They needed him, with Goodwin and Jones and everybody down. So, I guess today he said adios.
I'm happy for him.
Speaking of depart, I need to get out of here a little bit early today.
A little bit early. We got 3 minutes.
I got to get my new knockout radio wrapped down on my vehicle. It's going to be this one here. This show's going down the drain.
Only you would do that.
But that's, it happens every single year. Especially when camp starts, and Cole Beasley didn't do any camp, right? He didn't play any of camp, and he gets back in, he gets a call, I don't have to do camp, and he gets back in, does a couple of practices.
That's a veteran move.
Yeah, does a couple of practices, and it's like, when your body just tells you, man, like, it's time to wrap it up, it's time to wrap it up, so great career for him. Had a lot of good moments.
No, absolutely.
You know, he's gonna pursue his rap career. I'm sure. I don't know if you know. Cole can rap a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got some freestyles. He's got like an album out. Like he's a decent rapper. So I'm happy for him. Great
We
career.
put a band together, like a group.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Like,
Oh yeah, you two are so tight now. You best friends.
they all have to be Nigerian. That's the thing. We can only have a Nigerian rap group. I got my own brother right here.
I make
Nigerian people around.
I make one comment that I was in your house in Houston, and now he's like, yeah, but Caleb's been in my house in Tampa.
Oh man.
Not from Houston, but I rap a lot. That's what it is.
All right, this week,
As a rap group.
this weekend, the Falcons in town.
Yeah.
We only have about a minute and a half. Any thoughts?
I got the Bucks winning that one.
More importantly, can they score 21 or more points?
Yeah, I think they're getting back in the groove. I think they need to stay with that hurry-up offense the way they did against the Chiefs, have more urgency, go fast-paced. Get Mike Evans the ball. That should be – I know Tom doesn't like the first 3 people, but he needs to feed Mike Evans the ball because it opens everything else. It opens Leonard running the ball, opens Chris Godwin up, and hopefully Cameron Brate is back. I don't know if he will be with the concussion.
Yeah, I don't think he will be.
Yeah, get Mike Evans the ball, run fast-paced like they did against the Chiefs, and they can score points and keep up because I think their defense is going to hold Mariota to not a lot of points.
Unfortunately, we're out of time because I did want to talk about some of the Cam Brate stuff.
Yeah.
There were some interesting things done and said, and if someone reminds me and I'm still allowed on the radio, we'll talk about it next week. 'Cause
I'm off Sunday, so if they need me, ready.
ready for what? You
Throw football
wash
over a
cars?
mountain.
You still haven't done all the throwing you're supposed to do
Ronnie
here.
Barber's name's gone. I got a spot. I'll be in the Ring of Fame by next week.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Good to have the band back in town.
The rap
And
group.
shut up.
Nigerian Brothers.
And we will be back next week. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by Apeman Strong and Staff Zone. See everybody next week.